What's up, people of YouTube? I'm Karsatowski and welcome back to the Karsatowski YouTube channel. So in the sport of bowling, there's all kinds of different styles. Obviously you have the traditional one-handed style where you basically just use one hand with using your thumb, but you also even have unorthodox styles such as two-handed bowling, bowling one-handed with no thumb, bowling backwards even, of all things. So today we're going to look at a bunch of unorthodox bowling styles, especially since I have kind of an unorthodox style with being two-handed and all. So let's get into it. All right, let's start. Lou Campi. This is a really old one. Okay, that's an odd one right there.
In order to keep things on an even keel, he'll have to strike here on 4.
Huh. He's good though.
And that he does. Lou Campi.
Man, this is probably like late 50s or early 60s. So basically what Lou Campi does is when you're actually holding a bowling ball and you're taking your swing, your hand is typically under the ball, so it ends up behind the ball in this position. So the bowling ball would be somewhere around here and your hand would be around it and behind it. And then when you release it, go behind the ball and then follow through. But what Lou Campi does is when he goes to swing the ball, his hand is over here and the ball is behind. But he is good though, and for back then, you pretty much had very limited options with equipment. You pretty much only had rubber, probably mostly rubber during that time, and plastic would have been really his only options. They didn't even come out with a urethane and definitely not reactive resin during that time. But yeah, Lou Campi, very interesting style. Ron Williams. Okay, this is around 90s. This is during King of the Hill. Look at that follow through. Look at that swing. Okay, he has a good starting position. Okay. There he is again. This looks like this may have been like 5-10 years ago. Still bowling. Okay, so what he does is typically bowlers have a generally higher backswing that goes either directly behind their head or above their head. But what he does is he kind of takes it more along his back and he redirects it and has a pretty nice follow through. I assume what that mostly does is it definitely keeps his hand more or less behind the ball. But not too much of an unorthodox style, I'd say. It actually doesn't look too bad. Okay, Matt Jones.
That is just flush all day long. It's not like he's been getting those all day long.
Oh, I remember that guy. I've seen him years ago. Let's see what he does. I don't think it's going to show
Too early
the front.
opens, Jones can take the lead if he can continue to strike here. He likes it.
Yeah, this is one of the first two-handers I've ever seen, along with Jason Belmonte and Oscar Palermo. Okay, I see what he's doing. I definitely see what he's doing. So what he's doing is instead of having a normal swing and follow through using his whole body, basically what he's doing is he's basically using the momentum of his full body and basically doing a chest pass like what you would do in basketball. And that's something that Tim Cagle actually does, which I'm sure he's in this video, which basically the guy we just watched is pretty much a right-handed version of Tim Cagle. Jim Cripps. Oh, is this guy who bowls backwards? Yeah, look at that guy. He's the only backwards bowler I've ever seen, and he's the only one who I've seen who's actually pretty good. And he actually bowled a perfect game a little while ago too, which is really cool. And he did it under a chair. Okay, you guys really don't understand how difficult that really is. So he's a right-handed bowler who bowls the left side of the lane because he bowls backwards. But in bowling, you're pretty much taught to look at your target line the entire time throughout your approach. But him bowling backwards, the only time he's able to see where he's targeting is when he releases the ball. He is looking at nothing at all. And also, he was throwing it under a chair too, which is just insane. And not only that, but he has to release the ball more or less backwards instead of releasing it more to the left motion like this, how your right hand normally would be. He has to release it more like this since he's throwing it backwards. So he's pretty much the best backwards bowler I've ever seen. And really the only good one I've seen too, which he really should bowl at a lot of regionals if he doesn't already. Or even on the tour nonetheless. But I don't know if he's quite that good to bowl on tour, but I mean, he's been bowling like that for, I guess, at least probably 2 decades now, so he might as well just give it a shot. Andrew Cohen.
Sounds like your typical striker.
Okay.
Look again.
Little row
Cohen
revs.
is a world record holder in backwards bowling.
Oh, he's another backwards bowler.
Spare in the second frame and 11 strikes total.
Okay.
Andrew has spent his
But look at his
time
follow
on the
through
lane
though.
since he was 10.
He basically
So
makes that ball look
regularly
like it's
300
about 12
forwards.
pounds.
So why make the change?
Look at that. It's basically like the last guy, except his wrist goes all over the place. I don't even know how to explain how he does it.
You're going to take step back, push away. Step 2, you're going to have the ball down.
Wow.
Step 3, you're going to have the ball forward swing in front of you. And step 4, you're going to throw it back down the lane.
The only problem is you're just really inconsistent with that. Like, that's the only problem with backwards bowling. And especially since you're not actually sliding and having great stability, it's just really difficult for people like that to really bowl great unless they're doing a house shot league or basically bowling in the same house. So that's probably why you don't see too many backwards bowlers. So let's look at Wayne Garber now, shall we? Oh, I remember him. He has a good game, but look at his approach. So instead of taking 2 smaller steps and then a slide, he stands still, swings the ball, and then releases it. He's got relatively good balance, and he throws it high, the high hard one, and he still bowls quite frequently too. And he made a few step-outer finals on the P-Bay Tour, so this guy's the real deal. Yeah, look at that. There you go.
10 position round game, but he held on.
It's pretty much a normal release, except he doesn't take 2 extra steps. Jeff Roche, I remember this guy.
Find a way to get her done.
He is on the game's biggest
Yeah.
stage.
The only problem with this guy is he's not a very good spare shooter. At least he wasn't in this step-outer finals, which this is the only time I've ever seen this guy. And the thing with him is he doesn't have very high backswing and he doesn't have great balance, which is probably why he hasn't made any other step-outer finals other than this World Series. And his ball motion on that pattern kind of looks to be a little bit lazy down lane. It kind of freezes a little bit, and it kind of did it there too. And this must have been a few years ago. He looks a little different. Jacob Butcher. This is probably one of the best unorthodox styles that we've seen in the last decade. And this is his first step-outer finals in 2015.
The finger holes are big, the thumb hole is big, but what that does is it allows him to roll his wrist up underneath the ball and create all that power.
Yeah.
The speed is created
Look
with
at
his
that.
legs, the power is created with his wrist. Of his arsenal.
Man, this is like almost 8 years ago. He was probably 20 at that time. He doesn't have very high backswing either, but he has pretty good follow-through. I mean, he releases it pretty good. It's pretty much a standard P-Bay release, except it's got a lot more rev rate for most one-handers. So So in the video, basically what he does is he's actually double jointed, so he's able to get his wrist so much further under the ball than most one-handers. And he has to use a conventional grip, so his finger inserts, I don't think he uses finger inserts, but instead of his fingers being in the ball up to the first knuckle, it's actually up to the second knuckle. And that's how he's able to hold it so much more under the ball. Pretty interesting. Here we have Brandon Novak. Now this is really the only bowler on this list so far that I have actually bowled with personally. And he lives, I guess, probably within 45 minutes from me. And you can see his backswing goes all the way behind his back, and then it redirects in front of him.
Same ball in the same spot in the pocket.
Good setup. It's just his backswing is just really unorthodox. But he is really good. I mean, the last time I bowled against him, which was in one of my sweeper videos, he actually averaged about 240. And he's been winning a lot within the last several years too. He's one of my top 5 guys that I put up as my goal to beat, because I know if I can beat this guy, I'm going to do pretty good in tournaments. You know, look how far that is. But he redirects it under his head, which is what you should do.
And really, all it matters.
Yeah, I've bowled in a lot of tournaments against him. We have Tim Cagle.
There we go. And Cagle starts
So he pretty much does the same thing as that other guy does, and I cannot remember his name.
With a strike.
He's really the first guy that I've ever seen do that. And he explained in a video that the reason he does that is because he did basketball at the same time, and he was taught that a chest pass was the best way to go. So he pretty much adopted the same thing. Here's Bobby. Pushes it up, gets it down. It almost looks like he's about to balk when he does that. So a lot of very unorthodox styles. To be honest though, about 10 years ago, if I bowled two-handed, quite how I do now, I would definitely call that more or less an unorthodox style. But now, with it being 2023 and there are so many different styles now, mine is pretty much just a normal two-handed approach. But you got to see all kinds of unorthodox styles, and very interesting. So if you guys have enjoyed this video and you want to see more just like it, be sure you give this video a like. Also, if you want to see any more videos and want to be notified, then hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you will never miss any of my videos. I'm Karsatowski. Keep watching my content and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.